The news that James Harden is looking to go to a contender for the upcoming season has dominated the headlines recently, but we really need to talk about this Miami Heat situation. I want to start doing more videos like this where I'm just ranting, so if you guys like it, smash the like button. I'm trying to post as close to daily right now, so the support is much appreciated. Let's try to get 6.5 likes on today's video, and let's hop into it. Just a couple seasons ago, the Houston Rockets were a real title contender. After getting Chris Paul, they put together a great season in 2018. They were able to take the Golden State Warriors super team that featured the likes of Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson to 7 games. But what's so crazy looking back at that series is just how close they were to the NBA Finals, a finals that they would have had a real shot at winning. In that Game 7, the Houston Rockets, a team that was built around its ability to put up an historic amount of perimeter shots, would shoot 44 threes and make just 7. They shot 16% from 3, and yet were able to keep that game fairly close. Since then, a lot has changed with this Rockets team. The relationship between Harden and Paul would fall apart, eventually leading to the Rockets trading him for Russell Westbrook. The team would then decide the NBA is ready to see a 6'7" small forward play the center position. Russell Westbrook would end up getting traded for John Wall recently, and the team would end up moving away from both Daryl Morey and Mike D'Antoni. So considering all this and the quickly changing landscape of the league, it was no surprise that James Harden wanted to leave the Rockets for a contender, even if that means going to a state that actually has income tax. This news first became official a few days ago when James Harden told Houston that he'd be open to a trade to Philadelphia or any other contender. Now, this is an interesting trade scenario given that Harden would be going to a team run by his former general manager, Daryl Morey. Morey would have been a part of the only 2 James Harden trades in his career, but since then, Morey has made it very clear that he does not want to let go of his 2 young stars, either one of them, that being Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid. And this makes sense as they just spent an entire offseason trying to bring these 2 guys more shooting. James then expanded his desired destinations to include both the Milwaukee Bucks and Miami Heat, and this is where things started to get interesting. The Bucks is just fun to think about, as it'd be so interesting to see the duo of James Harden and Giannis Antetokounmpo, 2 guys that are basically polar opposites. I think they would have had a much stronger shot at this if this all went down a few weeks ago, but after this Jrue Holiday trade, I just don't see how they're going to be able to come close to what the Houston Rockets are looking for. If this Holiday trade didn't happen, the Bucks would have been able to offer something like Chris Middleton and similar draft compensation to what the Pelicans got. In that scenario, I think maybe something could have happened. Now, the Heat is interesting, and that's what's really made me want to talk about this situation. Before going further, we need to remember just how good James Harden is. Yes, he's built this reputation for not showing up in the playoffs, but he's still one of the greatest offensive players the league has ever seen, and he's truly changed the game. This is a guy that came into the league on a contender and played the 6-man role and won 6th Man of the Year. Then he would go to Houston and eventually take over the point guard position for a season where he would average 11 assists a game, and over the past 4 years has averaged 32 points, 9 assists, and 7 rebounds, shooting 44% from the field and 36% from 3. But the crazy part of Harden's game is the fact that since arriving in Houston back in 2012, he's averaged over 10 free throws a game while shooting 86%, meaning he's averaged 9 points a game from free throws alone. The opportunity to get a player of James Harden's caliber via a trade you just don't see very often. To add to that, he still has 2 years remaining on his deal. The Miami Heat are a team that just shocked the world a year ago, making it to the NBA Finals where they would fall short of the Los Angeles Lakers. While it was extremely impressive, it was very evident that they just didn't have the star power to take down a team like the Lakers that had LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And while they're hoping that the upcoming 2021 NBA free agency class is going to be their opportunity to address that, this James Harden trade situation could make them serious title contenders overnight, assuming the Miami Heat are able to retain their star duo of Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, which in almost every trade scenario, I think they do. Man, would this be an interesting dynamic. You've got 3 guys that play 3 different positions and are all very solid playmakers given their respective position. Both Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo are some of the most versatile defenders in the whole league, which played a massive role in how successful they were a year ago. And between James Harden and Jimmy Butler, they were able to combine for 21 free throw trips a game last season, where they both shot a very high percentage. That's going to be tough to go up against on a nightly basis. if I'm the Miami Heat, I'm doing everything I can to get something done, but it just doesn't look like they have that same interest. According to Greg Sylvander of 5 on the Floor, the Miami Heat have had trade discussions regarding the NBA superstar, but have been unwilling to let go of Tyler Herro in any package. What's so interesting about this is that the Heat could really put something together, something like Tyler Herro, Kendrick Nunn, Kelly Olynyk, and Andre Iguodala, and obviously some combination of draft compensation. Hard to say what that would be right now, but they can bring a solid amount, as while they have outgoing picks in 2021 and 2023, they hold on to the rest of their first round selections. Now, to make it clear, Houston's not excited about guys like Olynyk and Iguodala. These guys are a part of the trade solely due to their contracts. But what's so interesting about the Miami Heat is while most teams have to give the Rockets some less favorable contracts, multi-year deals to get the money to work, both Iguodala and Olynyk have just 1 year remaining on their contract. So this package is really Herro, Nunn, and draft compensation, which in my eyes is a pretty solid package. Now, there's a chance a guy like Duncan Robinson could be included, but for Miami, I really hope that wouldn't be the case. Now, as we said, they're currently unwilling to move Herro, and if that actually ends up being the case, there's just no way they get this done. But the fact that they appear to be this committed to holding on to Herro is absolutely ridiculous. He was the 13th pick last year out of Kentucky. He clearly went slept on, and that was evident immediately. On the year, he averaged 14 points a game, shooting 43% from the field and 39% from 3. But his stats don't tell the full story. He was a major factor in this team's surprising success. I can almost guarantee you we would have seen much more exciting stats on a team that wasn't focused on a deep playoff run. I definitely think some of this has to do with his physical appearance, but his game is just getting underrated right now. The skills he displayed both on and off the ball are extremely exciting. He's not comparable to a guy like JJ Redick. He has the potential to be a 25 plus point a game scorer. But with that said, Miami being unwilling to let him go is just absolutely, honestly frustrating. James Harden is legitimately one of the greatest shooting guards in NBA history, still playing at the highest level, and I truly think the fit is close to perfect. Now, I do have to say, what I don't think a lot of people realize is that Herro's value to this team is much more than just what he brings to the court. A massive part of where his value is right now is the fact that he's playing at this level and still has 3 years left on a rookie contract. And because he wasn't a top pick, he's only getting paid $4 million a season for the next 2 years and then $6 million in the last year. This makes him extremely valuable to this team, given what that allows them to do in free agency going forward. Yes, they've got big contracts going to guys like Jimmy Butler and now Bam Adebayo, but because of deals like Duncan Robinson, Tyler Herro, and Kendrick Nunn, this team is still in prime position to hold on to this core and bring in a top free agent next summer. But even with that said, I don't see why they are so committed to that plan. Yes, having Herro and Bam on your team for the future sounds great, but the goal is to win a championship. And while adding Harden might affect what this team wants to do in 5 seasons, nothing is a guarantee. Imagine if they can actually get this trade done right now for Harden, but they pass up on it, unwilling to let go of Herro, and then they strike out in 2021. Herro is great, yes, but Miami needs to pick up the phone and do what it takes to make a deal with Houston. Now, the last thing I need to make clear is that we don't know what Houston is thinking right now. All these rumors, all these reports are extremely vague. We don't know what they're asking for from Miami. We don't even know how willing they are to trade Harden despite his request. And while this might be controversial, I really think there's a win-win situation here with Miami, given that Harden clearly wants out. It's super hard to repair a relationship. Harden is trying to make a scene. He'd rather be in the headlines for what he's doing at the club rather than at practice. While we've seen some relationships restored, such as Kobe after wanting to go to Chicago, that's not very common. When a player wants out, they usually leave one way or the other. But that's the video, guys. You guys give me your thoughts in the comments below. If you liked the video, make sure you like and subscribe. And the shoutouts are gonna be Jane, Central, Coaster, Jamal, and Christian. If you guys want to shout out in the next video, all you gotta do is like the video, comment liked, rep notification squad, or be one of the first to comment on the video, and I'll shout 5 you guys out. With all that being said, hope you guys have a great day, and peace.